this is someone I'm looking forward to speaking to about this. There's a real stake in the game, so to speak, with Moshe Lavi, who's a brother-in-law of Omri Miran, who's taken hostage by Hamas October 7th of 2023. Moshe's been on this show a number of times, probably going back to shortly after we launched it in 2023, and we've had this conversation. And I can remember saying to you, I hope we have a conversation at some point that, you know, is at the end of this in happy terms and talking about reuniting. And I just wonder if we're getting closer to that today. I mean, what was your reaction when you heard what Hamas said?
Thank you, Connor, for having me. And yes, we met on the first week of the war. And sadly, we're still meeting in this kind of circumstances because it's not over. I want to be very cautious with Hamas' response. I think it's too early to be enthusiastic about it, because we've heard before there are yes, but responses, and this feels more of that. However, I'm not privy to what's going on behind closed doors, and we'll have to wait for President Trump's response. I'm sure we'll understand what's going on behind closed doors once that's out. But until then, I'm not certain the response Hamas gave is providing us a relief and a progress for the release of the hostages. But I hope I'm wrong.
Bring us up to speed on what you know, if anything, about the status of your brother-in-law, of Omri, that he, do you have reason to believe and hope that he's among those still alive, for example?
We know Omri is still alive, is among those 20 hostages who are considered alive.
Right.
There are 2 more whose status is unknown, while the rest are sadly were pronounced dead, murdered on October the 7th or in captivity. We're fighting for all 48. But of course, for Omri, as a family, the last we saw him was in late April, when Hamas released a cruel psychological warfare video featuring him just a week after his birthday. It gave us those strength because we saw he's alive. We saw that we can still bring him home. And I'll share with you something small we saw in the video. Despite him being starved and unwell and under duress, he was sitting in a certain pose, a yogi pose, that reflects the fact he's still very composed and held together. He's a shiatsu therapist, and that meant a lot to our family to see that signal from him. And I'm sure he's holding so strong, and we'll bring him home. I have no I'm certain about that.
Isn't it amazing what family and friends can notice in a video like that? You know, when you know somebody so well and it gives you that message. I mean, what about the rest of your family? Do you know today what the reaction was? Similar to you, cautious?
I spoke with my sister about an hour ago when the news just came out. We, just like you said, we're cautious. We've learned from the past disappointments when different stakeholders are not providing a strictly yes answer to a proposal on the table. And we don't want to be disappointed again. But we know that we have to keep fighting, keep advocating, keep praying, and ensuring that Omri, his story remains on the spotlight. My sister will travel to Washington, D.C. next week to mark October the 7th with U.S. officials. I'll be joining her there. I really hope she won't have to make that trip, that instead she'll be waiting to reunite with Omri in Israel, and I'll be taking a plane to join her there instead of flying to D.C.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Let's hope, like I started the conversation with, let's hope that that's the next time you're on this show, too, because that's going to happen, I think. You know, that's the next time we're going to talk. Moshe, you've been just a tireless advocate for your brother-in-law, and it's great to talk to you today with at least some hope. The caution I understand as well. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk again, hopefully, when Omri is free.